talking to you, Rabbi, from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So I would say one of the most fascinating things about living in this very fascinating age is how much we learn from it from cults, right? Cults, they were big in the 70s, 80s, 90s. I guess they're still big now. But yeah, how much we learn, how we can see cults represented in the world as we experience it today. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, normally to be part of a cult, you need to detach yourself from reality to a certain extent, or at least detach yourself from societal norms, right? But you need to detach yourself from reality, I think, from and the way you do that is you remain isolated, right? You remain completely isolated. And you don't have any contact with anybody not in that bubble, right? And that's because if you do, the main way people leave cults is they leave them themselves. They go, well, this doesn't make any sense, Wait a minute, I just filled that questionnaire. Now I'm giving somebody a blowjob in a closet. I don't understand. Listen, I'll finish, obviously. I'm a man of my word. But I don't like your attitude, Sonny Jim. That's kind of how it happens. I always wondered that. Honestly, this is just an aside. In Israel, oftentimes, not often, several times, you hear of these religious cults where you have like a figure, right? Who is a charismatic figure who never seems very charismatic, right? Have you ever seen Norm Macdonald does a great bit? Well, used to have great, but Noel MacDonald, of blessed memory, used to do this great bit about how, that naughty chancellor from Germany in the 1930s won power. And they said, because he was a silver-tongued devil. It was and I hear him speaking, he's like, it doesn't seem that compelling to me. But anyway, I guess everything in context, right? But normally, right, you have like a figure, and it always involves them having sex with the women there to, chase out Satan. I just want to know, who falls for that, right? Really? You got to worry about Satan in you. Really? Honestly, I don't know. But people fall for it. Incredible things. Why? Because they remain completely isolated in the bubble. So, how does this relate to today? It's because we social media has developed bubbles, I think, for us to live in. I think people on my side of the fence are more open to hearing the news sources not theirs. Like people on the right and like the left of right are just completely redundant terms in my mind. Rusty Davis went on a rant the other day about how evil the Conservatives are. I'm like, Russell, mate, you're living in a forgotten universe that doesn't exist anymore. Yes, they're probably bastards, liars, and yes, I agree with you. But Labour's also the same. Politicians are just scum, really. The joke I've been used for last week or so is, I used to think in my naive youth that politicians were 2 or 3 notches below child molesters. But now in the cold light of day, in my mature, for my mature 50+ eyes, I can see no, they're not 2 notches below child molesters. They are indeed actually child molesters, as we are finding out. So So as I said, you can't break out the cult, right? You've got to stay part of the bubble. That's why people just believe things that aren't true. Like people in America, they less and less now. It's amazing. Gas prices really seem to be doing the trick and waking people up. But less and less people but some people really do believe that the riots in 2020 were mostly peaceful, right? And the January 6th was an insurrection. They really, it doesn't matter what the evidence of their own eyes says, right? And that's the incredible thing. It really doesn't matter what the evidence of your own eyes says. They will believe it, right? Why? Because they're completely ensconced in this bubble. So with that, we look at this article that we're going to look at today, which is the only way of possibly explaining it. The headline is, Doctor Who's confirmation of a trans character builds on the Jodie Whittaker era. Yeah, Jodie Whittaker's era was a complete failure, right? A complete failure in every way, other than in the representation, right? Yeah, other than, and not even there. Really, that's the thing. It's not representation they're talking about. It's tokenism, right? It was a great success in tokenism, a massive failure in any other metric, in being an entertaining, commercial artistic form. A complete failure in maintaining its level of merchandise, right? Level of interest, right? It completely failed. And the reason it completely failed is because it's made by people who live in a bubble, who don't understand that most people just don't agree with the weird things that they agree with. Now, most people were like, fine, it's, marriage has always been between a man and a woman, and the word was defined by, is a biblical concept. A biblical concept was very clearly between a man and a woman, but no, we said, people were there, it's cruel! It is, and there's a bit, but part of their argument was correct. It is cruel not to offer same-sex couples the same rights as regular couples, like traditional couples. I agree with that, right? You can't say same-sex relations are completely normal and fine and permissible, which we do in the Western world. Which I don't want anybody to be harassed for their sexual identity. I mean, if you're not new to my channel, you know that, but you can't say that as we do legally, right? We say that. And I'm not an advocate of going back to the 70s of criminalizing homosexuality. I'm not advocating that at all. But you can't say what is moral and fine, and then say, oh, but you can't have the same rights as straight sex couples. That's ridiculous. That's hypocritical. And it could be said that the Old Testament is not LGBTQ plus friendly, right? It could very easily be said that, right? Well, that's kind of a fair criticism, right of it. Which is why I think most people aren't like devoutly religious. It was seen to be kind of a schism. But as another aside, people really hate the idea of conversion therapy. Look, I'm not on board for false conversion therapy at all. I think it's horrible. But I think if you're a religious person who is gay, who doesn't want to be gay or doesn't want to have gay sex, it seems like if somebody wants to choose to do that, why would I prohibit that? But okay, that's a whole other issue. As I said, the trans character, they think, builds on the Jodie Whittaker era, which is, again, if you didn't live in your insane bubble, right, you would know is the absolute worst thing to say to anybody considering coming back to Doctor Who, right? The absolute worst thing to say. Fine, before we get into it, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit that subscribe button, all those things are a fan dabby. Oh, you know it. A fan dabby double dosing. As it says, excellent coffee. Oh, nothing like a bit of iced coffee in the morning. We are in the midst of summer here. It's quite pleasant. Like, share, subscribe, comment, sign up my Substack. Today is Friday. I'm recording this on Friday anyway. I think my Substack will have... what new adventure book should I put out? I did Left-Handed Hummingbird last week. I don't know. I'll do... Oh, maybe I'll do a Paul Cornell one. Right, Paul Cornell, douchebag, as I could, douchebag of the highest order, in my opinion, fantastic writer at the same time. So there you go. It swings around about. Like, share, that's a PDF. You don't get a physical copy of an out-of-print book. Like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack. All those things are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Is this article fantastic? I will say this article is somewhat fascinating. Fantastic. I'm not sure about here. One second. Pull it up. There we go. Doink. Oh, I've got to press that button. And there we are, from CBR.com. CBR.com. Oh, we love you. CBR.com. Again, they just say things that completely are not true. And we go, yeah, okay. Well, let me see their homepage. Their homepage is always hilarious, right? Miss Marvel, highest rated MCU production yet. Get out of town. No, it isn't. No, look at that. There's nobody watching that. Can I zoom in on that picture? Yeah, look at this. There's nobody's going, oh yeah. I mean, like, what? This is more successful than, well, they've all been garbage, haven't they? I mean, highest rated. That's what they always do. They when they want to not be overly honest, they go, it's lots of hyperbole. It's the safest and most secure election of all time. Really? I don't think so. Dr. I am the science Fauci, right? It's always an overreach. They more of a reach around. Doctor Who's got, okay, so Doctor Who's confirmation that trans character builds on the Jodie Whittaker era is the last thing that most fans of Doctor Who want to hear, right? Even if you didn't mind the Jodie Whittaker, even if you like, there's a few people out there who liked it. I don't know them, but there's a few people out there who liked it. But most fans are like, it was awful. That's why most viewers were. It lost. It went from 11 million to 1.5 million. It lost 90% of its audience. Right? It lost, and for a few reasons. Whittaker was horribly miscast. She was horribly directed by, and not like to mean directed as in the director, but had given horrible direction by Chris Chibnall, by the production office, right? The scripts were detached from the people who they were supposed to be entertaining. They were lecturing them on things that people really didn't care about or understand or agree with, right? And they were doing it very, very, very painfully, obviously. It wasn't a presentation of a worldview. It was a lecture, right? Because that's what this doctor did. She lectured a lot. And one of the things she lectured about was how women are people too, right? And I don't know anybody who doesn't really believe that. I've never met anybody who thinks that way. Like, well, women, they shouldn't be treated the same as men, given the same rights. Although I have noticed, right? The whole Me Too thing has brought this to my attention. Especially series 11 of Doctor Who, which I think this is the message of it. Women often feel like they're ignored, right? Especially in business, women often feel that they're ignored. Okay, that's a recurring thing. Rick and Morty did something about that in the last season. The Rick's sister says something, everybody ignores it, and then the guy says exactly the same thing. It was like, oh, really, right? I would need to see an actual example of this in practice to work out what's going on. But I would suggest that this is an extension of women being treated equally to men in business, right? Because when men say something stupid, they get roasted, right? They get ignored. They get told they're idiots. Yeah, that's just what it's like. And if you want to say we got to change the business world to be more feminine, I could hear that, but I don't know, mate. It's but the idea that women are summarily ignored, I've never seen it. Like I would love to. I would love to actually see it in action, because you need like a third eye on that, right? Because everyone's got coming in with their own emotional understandings. Anyway, but it was filled with ideology, and we had and they were all awful, right? And the stories were absolutely awful. And this is in general why television, why entertainment is disconnected from the audience, right? Firstly, it had unbridled hatred of them if they voted the wrong way. And then, the entertainment industry is, they voted the wrong way because they're idiots. Oh, we got to lecture them like they're idiot children, right? And then just to finish off the story, they, through fair means or foul, right, got control over the levers of power and destroyed the world. I mean, it's been under 2 years since Biden, really? And it's like, we pretty much destroyed the Western world. I would say purposely. It looks like it's being done on purpose to me. It's so obvious that even people who are pro-Biden are like noticing it now, even within their little bubble. So the only way you could possibly write this article is if you live completely cauterized from existence in this insane bubble, right? So let's have a look. It's always fun to look inside a goldfish bowl and see what's going on with the goldfish. Yasmin Finney's Rose, a companion to Shooty Gut, was 14th Doctor. No! I mean, maybe she's a companion to Shooty Gut was Doctor. Maybe David Tennant is a companion to Shooty Gut was 14th Doctor. Maybe Shooty Gut isn't the 14th Doctor. Maybe it's going to be Wilf as a companion. Maybe it's Meet the Beat. There's as much evidence to say that any of those people are as Yasmin Finney's Rose. Yasmin Finney's Rose, it looks like she had, 3 or 4 days of filming. That doesn't seem like a major element. By the way, I just read this morning, The Sun had an exclusive. The only thing we know about his costume, Shooter's costume, is he's going to be wearing wellies. Like, do you think that's real? I don't know. We'll find out. Foreign Doctor, and will thematically be building on concepts explored during Jodie Whittaker's era. Here's the thing: there was nothing really explored during Jodie Whittaker's era, other than say, I'm too scared to feel love, even though I love you, Yaz. Oh, I love you. And being a Time Lord, it's no problem for me to sizzy with you in the TARDIS. But I'm just scared of love. And that was actually an excerpt from the Centenary Special, which still doesn't have a title. I mean, I don't understand. Who do you think you're scared? Like, who do you think you're spoiling there, Chibnall? It's beyond me. 2022 has proven to be a big year for Doctor Who. Well, again, we are passing the kidney stone. That is Jodie Whittaker. Earlier this year, the Legend of the Sea Devils special confirmed Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor is queer. See, that's the big deal. This is where their mind's at, right? It's not. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about performance. They don't care if it's been popular. They don't care if it's been successful. They don't care about story. They don't care about anything. They don't care that it's not influencing anybody because nobody's bloody watching it. They just care that they get affirmed, right? And I think this goes right back to the implementation of participation trophies, right? I really do. This inability to be able to cope with failure, right? And this is what we're looking at. An inability to cope with failure on any level, a personal failure. That's why they have no moral center whatsoever. They can never admit they're wrong, and they will hate you forever if you point out they're wrong, right? That's something that they absolutely cannot stand is being wrong, because they have no capacity for failure, because we have, speaking of somebody in the 50s, we have absolutely failed this generation, right? So they would turn out just so vacuous and awful, right? Honestly, I think the unlimited free porn is a bad idea, right? I think it's a bad idea. I think us as a society, we are somewhat guilty of that, right? I mean, honestly, when it started, was it the 90s or 2000? I think the 90s is where I was, ahead of the curve in technology. But I think that it was, stream basically started in the 90s. It picked up in the 2000s. But like, there was no legislation about it, because it was very much like there's an episode of Friends where they get free porn on their cable TV, and they can't turn the channel off because it's free porn. You can't say no to that. And if they ever turn the channel, they will lose it. I think that's the same sort of thing, right? But man, look at these kids. I mean, no wonder all these girls want to say they're trans, right? Want to say they're boys, want to reject their sexuality when they see that and go, oh, that's what people want from sex? That must be kind of scary, right? I'm like, really? Look, if you're a younger person, that's really not what sex is like, okay? It really genuinely isn't, look, if I was going to give you sexual advice, I would say monogamy, right? It's really boring. All the boring things happen to be true. This is what I found out now I'm old, right? All the boring things happen to be true. Monogamy is the way to have the best sex life possible. And it really, genuinely is. Anyway, so, but okay. She's queer! Oh, Jodie's got what? The rainbow over her chest didn't give it away to you. No! Wasn't loud enough! It had to be very, very loudly queer. I know she was wearing a rainbow over her tits for the last few years, but, she didn't say, oh, I'll scissor you in the TARDIS, so it's a big year. Yeah, how did that help Doctor Who? Okay, fine. Get answers on a postcard, please. What did he use as envelope, Peter? A postcard or a sealed envelope, wasn't it? It's like fine. Allegedly confirming 30 Whittaker 13th Doctor is queer and romantically interested in Yaz Khan. Played by Mandip Gill. I mean, jeez. Again, how honestly, I can make an argument about how pretty much any story that was influential on Doctor Who was actually beneficial to it. Like, how did Deadly Assassin help Doctor Who, which people hated at the time? Fandom hated Deadly Assassin at the time. Public loved it. That's the one you got to follow. Like, how do these things help Doctor Who? Not much is the answer. Not much. But it helps you, right? Because you want to believe. The person was brought up in this bubble that sexual and gender fluidity is a natural state for human beings, and we got to try and re-educate the world so trans people don't kill themselves. Right? That's essentially their belief. And if you say, I don't think that men can have babies, that's called being transphobic. And you're not allowed to say that because you're being hateful and you're going to be able to cause trans people to kill themselves. Now, that's not my point of view, right? That's not my argument. That was actually genuinely an argument made by a Harvard professor. I'm not exaggerating. Made by a Harvard professor a couple of days ago in Congress. Was it Congress? Some kind of congressional hearing. And she had sued. And the weird thing was I was talking to you about bubbles, right? Both the left-wing bubble and the right-wing bubble shared that video completely, right? Shared it everywhere as proof that they're right. The left-wing people said, see, he said that men can't have babies. He's transphobic. He's denying they exist. I deny that men, I understand there are trans men who may be able to have babies, but saying trans men are men, it seems to be there's a significant difference and they can't have babies, right? I mean, generally speaking, that seems to be one significant difference between trans men and non-trans men, the boring cis men. I don't know that, and when you say trans men are men, trans women are women, I think that difference is reasonably important, right? I think that difference is reasonable, but they don't want to hear it, right? Because they grew up with participation trophies and being told that they are great and everything they do is just the bestest ever. No matter if it's not. I honestly, I saw a clip of The View this morning, Whoopi Goldberg. And again, I like to watch sources from worldviews that I don't like. And they're talking about inflation is up to 9% in the US. And they're saying, well, what more can Biden do? Right? Well, he could fire himself and bring Trump back. I mean, that's the elephant in the room. Do the absolute opposite, undo everything he's done and bring Trump back to make all the decisions. Because that would end the inflation pretty darn quickly. And they say, it's a global thing. Yes, it's globally caused by the United States being idiots. Yes, the United States did cause global inflation. Although, man, how much of it is on purpose? There's a Dutch protest right now, which really blows my mind, right? Really blows my mind. This is why it's good to listen to people with different outlooks here. I listen to Russell Brand's channel as well. And generally speaking, I have a different worldview than him. But I agree. I like his honesty, right? I like his attempt at honesty, which I think is good. So he was talking to somebody about these Dutch farmer protests, which are being labeled as anti-green protests. People hate the environment. What's essentially going on is they've outlawed fertilizer. Was it chemical fertilizer in farming, and you have to use organic fertilizer. The trouble with using a green fertilizer is it's economically impossible, right? You cannot make a profit if you use that fertilizer. It's too expensive, and that's the business model. It actually destroys you. It destroys it. So why do they want to destroy their farming industry? Well, they don't. They want them to go bankrupt and then be bought by multinational, globalist corporations. Right, this is the definition of the Great Reset they talked about. Right, it's when you're resetting wealth, resetting property, resetting land ownership, which is the cornerstone of all wealth, from the middle classes, from people who are insanely wealthy to people who are. That's the great reset, and the only way it can happen is you live in a bubble. Same with this. The only way it can happen lives in a bubble. After a month after the special ed, sex education star Ncuti Gatwa was announced as Whittaker's successor as the first black Maine doctor. I guess they can't call the first doctor because Dr. Ruth. Well, okay, whatever. And again, I'm a very, very much against identity politics. I think I think meritocracy is a much better way. And I think he got the job through merit. I think he walked in and was brilliant, right? I really genuinely do. But I think the reason he walked in, I think being black didn't hurt him, right? I do think that's the trend in the entertainment industry right now. Because most people making TV shows and movies are insanely racist and sexist, right? And they've been insanely racist and sexist for their entire career, and now they want to, well, it's a bit of an unfortunate term, whitewash that. So that's what's going on. That's why Me Too happened as well. Shortly after Gatwa's announcement, Heartstopper's actress Yasmin Finney was announced as his companion. No, that didn't happen. You are living in delusion, right? What's it like in Egypt? Why do I ask what's it like in Egypt? Because you, mate, are deep in denial, right? You are up the Nile, right? That is cray. Absolute cray. Oh, man, it's totally frozen. Just noticed. Okay, maybe it'll calm down in a second. And it's set to appear alongside David Tennant's 10th Doctor and Catherine Tate's Donna Noble. Yeah, that much has been announced, right? That much we know in the upcoming 60th anniversary Doctor Who special in 2023. Again, I'm not going to preclude that she's Ncuti Gatwa's companion. The world I think we're going to be living in 2023 and 2024 is going to be so different, right? I think that world is we're going to be looking at the world today and going, geez, we were just completely messed up and insane amounts of embarrassment, right? It's I found there's two things that happen when you offer people information outside their bubble, right? Especially if they're in that left wing bubble. They will refuse to look at it, right? They absolutely refuse to look at it, and if they do look at it, they become angry, right? They become angry because their reality is being shaken, and they go back to reassert the insanity. Because the trouble is, as I said, being in a cult, you've got to be maintaining the cult. Now, because the cult is maintained via social media, right? You're tethered to it 24/7. I think Jack Posobiec called it a digital pacifier, which they go to. I mean, like, Rachel Maddow, it's insane. So, the casting of Yasmin Finney as Rose marks the first time in Doctor Who history a trans actor has been cast in a lead role. Firstly, we don't know, it's not a lead role as far as I understand it, and it's not the first trans actress. Apparently, there was another one, Eaters of Light, maybe? It was I don't know. I really don't know. But, okay, and it's not a lead role. It's still not a lead role. It's still a supporting role. No matter how much you would desperately love it to be a lead role, it's still a supporting role. And it doesn't need to be quite that big a supporting role at that. On July... was it? That's not the only surprise. That's not the only surprise Finney had in store for Doctor Who fans, however. On July 9th, Finney confirmed at the London Trans Pride that her Rose will be trans. We saw the pictures, right, of somebody who is trans, it being filmed. I mean, like, it's the definition of who they are. Not my definition, their own self-definition, right, of who they are, right? It's one of the most central... Obviously, they're trans. Yes, obviously they're going to be trans. This is significant news for the popular British sci-fi show, formerly popular British sci-fi show, that not only builds on the concepts first established in Jodie Whittaker era of Doctor Who, those concepts again. What did they do? They destroyed Doctor Who, right? They genuinely did. I don't know, like when I say destroyed, they reduced its popularity by about 80 to 90%. Okay, that's not good at all. And that's from starting from Capaldi, I think, which was already down about 20-30%. Jodie Whittaker. But hints of what's in store for the future under Rusty Davies' second era showrunner. Again, this is what's causing my entire audience to lose their shit and go, no, there is no hope. That again, Don't believe their bullshit. They may be right? They may be right, but who are they talking to? Themselves. And what they're saying to themselves, they're hugging themselves in the fetal position in the corner going, I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. Double mastectomies for children is a good thing. I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. Puberty blockers for children are a good thing. I wasn't wrong. Let's go to a family-friendly drag show. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. And that's all this is. That's all this is. Don't be fooled by their insane lack of security. And the reason they have a complete lack of security is because they're freaking crazy, right? In many ways, the modern era Doctor Who has always been building to this moment. Oh, this holy moment, but finally, a woman with a penis and no tits can be on Doctor Who. Oh, thank God we've made it. Society's made it. But wait, I remember them saying that when same-sex marriage became legal. We've made it! At last, we've made it! Right? And then shortly thereafter, everything went to hell. I mean, and honestly, this is speaking as somebody who thinks same-sex couples should absolutely have the same rights as traditional couples. There's also a Bible thumper who believes that, God is not a fan, of the uphill gardening. In many ways, the modern era of Doctor Who had always been building up this moment. Beginning Rusty Davies era in 2005, the road to the Elkja. It's so many letters, and it's like, it's so worrying that Rusty Davies is so part of this cult. I'm just hoping against hope. His talent and his drive for success will moderate this insanity. The road to the LGBTQIA inclusion on Doctor Who began with the casting of John Barrowman. I think it began with the casting of Matthew Waterhouse, quite frankly. A gay actor. Oh, he's a gay. Oh, look at my little tokens of marginalised people. We got a gay, and we have a black. Oh, do we have a Jew? No, we don't like those. The pansexual Ninth Doctor. No, he wasn't Ninth Doctor companion. Jack went on to front his own Doctor Who spin-off series, Torchwood. Weirdly enough, second season, in which Chris Chibnall ran it, was pretty darn good, as I remember. I keep thinking I should go back and watch it, and I'm going, well, why would I torture myself? Maybe it's not. Which featured an all-queer team of us, Mightiest Protectors. And that was really where it failed, right? I mean, okay, Captain Jack's gay and Ianto's gay, okay, but then you had Gwen, had same-sex relation, and Owen. Oh, come on. Owen's not taking up the arse, mate, right? He just isn't. He's not going there either. Oftentimes, gay people really believe that straight people are also gay, and they're just too scared to throw off their straightness. It's really not the case, mate. Okay, it's genuinely, and I wish you no animosity whatsoever. I really, really do not want to have gay sex in any way, shape, or form. Right? At no point, being a top, being a bottom, either. I'm not up for it, mate. I'm not up for it. You know how many dicks I want to suck? Zero. I do like hot dogs, though, but that's as close as we're gonna get. I do like hot dogs. Jack himself was in a long-term relationship with teammate Ianto Jones, played by, I'm going to add this in, the gorgeous Gareth David Lloyd. He's a good-looking boy. LGBTQIA representation didn't end with Davis. I understand. But back in Davis's time, you crazy people who lived in this insane bubble weren't convinced that naughty National Socialists had taken over the world, right? Or were taking over the world. As you guys all totally believe right now. What? You don't want a girl to cut her tits off without telling her parents? What? You must be a racist. It's kind of a weird leap, but okay. Kind of a weird leap. His successors, Stephen Moffat and Chris Chibnall, continued what he started by also casting queer actors in... Look, it's very hard not to find gay actors. I mean, there's a high percentage of what you want me to tell you. You know, it's like you go in a gay club and you find a gay person, like, really? What a shock. And Christian continued what he also did with queer casting in queer roles during their respective runs. Moffat first did this with Pearl Mackie, a bisexual actress, as lesbian Bill Potts. I am convinced this was from an edict from the BBC. Look, this is what the BBC wanted. How is it that Piers Wenger said that after the insane failure of season 11, that Doctor Who was in the best pace possible editorially? How could he have possibly made that pronouncement? Because editorially, that's what they wanted to do. Making the first female companion not to harbour romantic What? Making her the first female companion not to harbour romantic feelings for the male Doctor. What? Clara didn't. Amy did a little bit for about a minute. But Donna didn't. Donna pointedly didn't. Okay, so then you got Perry certainly didn't. Ace didn't. Well, what do you think? Can you imagine Ace wanting to sleep with the Seventh Doctor? No. And we didn't get to know Grace long enough. I doubt Charlie did. It's like Nyssa. Oh yeah, Nyssa really wants to fuck Peter Davison's Doctor. Yeah, that's the vibe I got. She wanted to have a threesome with Tegan, Nyssa, and Peter Davison's Doctor. Yes, episode of Fifth Doctor. You're talking absolute bollocks. I mean, really? God, that bollock meter just went way up, didn't it? He also cast Michelle Gomez as the first female incarnation of the Master, who fully embraced her female identity, effectively establishing the villain's Time Lord as gender fluid. Well, not really, right? The reason Cabaldo's Doctor couldn't recognize him was heavily intimated because she gender swapped, right? The showrunner who fully capitalized on the LGBTQIA representation, however, was Chris Chibnall. Yes, I understand that, right? And again, you understand how much he failed, right? You understand how badly it went down. No, it did. I mean, this shouldn't be something that you go, oh yeah, we need more of that. Yeah, that's just going to work out good. I mean, it's insane. I mean, it really is genuinely insane. But, you know, we do live in crazy times, right? We do, generally speaking, live in absolutely insane, crazy times. Right, where's it? Let's keep going in this article. Actually, I'm trying to open the ratings chart. Let's have a quick look. Is that opening up? No, maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Who knows or dares to dream. Christian, beginning with the casting of Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor, a miscasting, right? How did that work out? She's been diabolical in the role, and I don't care how many people say, oh, Whittaker's been fine, she's a fine actress, but Chris Chibnall let her down. No, she's been useless, right? Not only was the first actor to play the titular role of in the main series, oh, here it is, let me pull it up. Doink. It's smaller. like they made the ratings. This visual aid. That's how it worked out, right? This is how it worked out. And that spike was for Captain Jack, who they then cancelled. Bloody idiots. Bloody idiots with no sense of loyalty whatsoever. Or human decency. I think it's the word I'm after. Not only Whittaker is the very first actress to play the titular Time Lord in the main series, but her Doctor is very visibly clear and gender fluid. After regenerating from the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi, the 13th Doctor had trouble adjusting to a new body and gender identity at first. After getting used to her new status quo, the 13th Doctor explained she was both male and female, effectively establishing her as non-binary. Yes, I understand that. And again, this is how the public reacted. Okay? This is how they reacted. This isn't just the scripting. This is how they reacted. Because it's completely disassociated from the audience they're trying to entertain. It's in a different reality. I'm sorry, for most people, identity and sexuality isn't fluid. When I say most, 99% of the world, or for the entirety of our species' existence, that seems to be a majority to me, right? That seems to be like you're over the edge, right? Doctor, she was now effectively non-binary. Oh God! As the first non-binary incarnation of the Doctor, I mean, look, they were all asexual up until, I would say, David Tennant, basically. The first one I carried out with the Time Lord. The 13th Doctor started using female pronouns and referred to herself as a man on occasion, and was most notable. This was most notable in Legend of the Sea Devils. No, it wasn't. It was least notable in Legend of the Sea Devils. You know why it's least notable? Because it was least noticed. The least people watched this of any episode of Doctor Who ever. Oh. When she confirmed her lesbian Muslim companion. Oh, yes, because lesbianism is rife in the Muslim world. Oh, they love that. Yeah. Honestly, go to any Muslim country and say, where's the nearest Pride Parade? Oh, I want to show you, I want to have pride in my non-binary lesbian world. Yay! Try doing that in Saudi Arabia. See how that works out for you, mate. See how that works out in Qatar. Lesbian Muslim. How freaking stupid are they? Companion Yaz, that she was. It's like the insistence that Latino people, Hispanic people, like to be called Latinx. No, they don't. And the only people who do that are white people. Oh. And she was a very different man at the time that she married River Song. Okay, daughter of companions Amy Pond and Rory Williams. And that under different circumstances, she'd be in a romantic relationship with Yaz. But she was too scared. She was a coward. This is the first coward Doctor. First idiot Doctor as well. The 13th Doctor also had a preference for masculine, gender-neutral clothing. This is the drive to desexualize anything, right? You're not allowed anything to be for the male gaze. What bullshit. Through her main outfit of the rainbow t-shirt, yes, we noticed the rainbow, a pair of trousers and a long coat. The 13th Doctor also known to wear a tuxedo complete with a suit and bow tie. One episode, and it was a bad episode. With Doctor Who's first non-binary queer Doctor set to regenerate into Shooty Gut was 14th. She's not. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of Centenary Special. My hope and the rumor that I heard is it's going to fade to white and then there's going to be laughter, right? And this Rusty Davis is going to start from a blank slate. I would like to hope so. By the way, the rumor that David Tennant gets his outfit, his costume, is he grabs stuff from Camden Market, right? Which is why his costume is a bit different than it was, but goes for like a Ninth Doctor-esque type of look. Later this year, it's far from surprising that Davis is continuing the trajectory that Chibnall solidified on his run. Let's look at the trajectory. No, they want to turn that upside down, right? They want to turn that upside down. Right, that the reason he's in is to not continue, but to make the trajectory opposite. With the confirmation of Yasmin Finnis Rose is trad. What did you think? I mean, honestly. Here, I'm going to give you a real exclusive. Shooty Gut was Doctor. He's going to play it like he's black. Yes, I know. Shocking. I know. I was amazed too. They're not going to white him up every day. Incredible. Lenny Henry did a stand-up movie in the 80s, I think, where he impersonated Steve Martin, and they whited him up for it. And they in the thing at the beginning put the makeup on and said, "Hey, this is what you white folks have to do every day." Oh, sorry, funny. There's a good chance the 14th Doctor could be establishing clear and gender fluid as well. It may be. If it is, it's not surviving, right? That it survived this much. The only reason it's still like a possibility it's surviving is Rusty Davis is coming back, right? If he screws the pooch, he screwed the pooch. It's gone, right? I think you're as likely to see a new Doctor Who series after a few years if he does that, as you are likely to see a new Flash Gordon series of Buck Rogers. Some things just end, right? So sometimes genres just end, right? It's just the way it is. The fact that Gatwas, Shooty Gatwa has experience playing the gay Eric Effiong on Sex Education. Apparently has Gillian Anderson as well. I've really got to check that out. I like Gillian Anderson in basically anything. Makes it a strong possibility for his doctor. Well, if it is a strong possibility for his doctor, then that's the end, baby. It's the end. Say goodbye to Doctor Who. That's what I would. That's what or not recommend. That's just what's going to happen, right? Hopefully, they're as wrong about the things in this article that we know that they were wrong about as the things they don't know they're wrong about. Hopefully, one can only dream. One can only dream. Time indeed will tell. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.